With the Matthew Stafford trade domino falling and the NFL quarterback carousel kicking off this offseason, it was interesting to see which teams were reportedly in on Stafford and how much they were willing to give up, because it was a lot. It was a lot. So teams that missed out, may we possibly interest you in a quarterback who is the same age as Stafford, has a better career winning percentage, does better against teams with a winning record, actually won a playoff game, been to twice as many Pro Bowls, actually won his division as opposed to Stafford, who's won 0, goose egg, D'Angelo Russell, NFC North titles, has a better career quarterback rating, has a better career PFF grade, DVOA, touchdown to interception ratio, and is only undervalued because the media likes to take a huge, big steaming pile of Cleveland steamer on top of him, huh? May I introduce you to Kirk Jerome, Ezekiel, Cousins. So the teams that were in on Stafford just thinking that, hey, we are a veteran quarterback away from actually doing something, may I interest you in Kirk Cousins? And also, money-wise, he will only cost you $21 million against your 2021 cap as opposed to $20 million for Matthew Stafford, so the money works out the same. Now remember, I am good with rolling with Kirk Cousins. That's why the Vikings have leverage in the spot, because they don't have to give him up. They don't have to be sellers this offseason. So I want at least a high one and some change. So yeah, the options are running out. You missed out on Stafford. Guess what? The pool of supply is shrinking up, bro. So demand is still there. So you're going to have to pay up. That's right. And it's important to remember that Kirk Cousins' no trade clause was rescinded when he signed his 2-year extension. So oh, baby. Let's go. Here are the top 5 trade destinations for Kirk, Jerome, Ezekiel, Cousins, the Tim Pot Pizza Ranch Dictator. Number 1, San Francisco 49ers. So they do have the number 12 overall pick. They will have $33.14 million in cap space if and when they cut Jimmy Garoppolo. And by the way, I'm not interested in players. I'm not interested in quarterbacks. I want draft picks, just straight picks, homie. That's right. So this one, of course, makes the most sense. Niners were a Super Bowl team last year. And by the way, Kyle Shanahan, you do wonder. So Kyle Shanahan was the original boy wonder. Well, I guess John Gruden was the original boy wonder, but yeah. And some of the shine is being removed from Kyle Shanahan. Maybe he's turning into the boy blunder, because remember, he was the OC of the Falcons when they blew 28-3, and then losing in the Super Bowl last year, where Jimmy Garoppolo was the Achilles heel. And Kirk and Shanahan obviously have that connection. Kirk thrives in this flavor of the West Coast scheme, which you saw in Washington, which you saw in Minnesota under Gary Kubiak. Niners were in on Stafford, but they didn't make a formal offer. So Niners, come and get it done. All you can eat, baby. 12 plus your second round pick plus David Putney, because I feel like it. Boom. Next up, trade destination number 2 for Kirk Cousins, the Denver Broncos. They have the number 9 overall selection, $14.88 million in cap space. Now, there could be a lot more, depending on what happens with Von Miller. Right now, the Broncos reportedly offered the number 9 overall pick and Drew Lock to the Lions for Stafford. What? Wow. It's amazing. Of course, George Payton, new GM of the Broncos, and Spielman go way back like chiropractic. And Payton, surely had a part in bringing in Kirk Cousins and had a voice in the room when they extended Kirky boy. So he could be like, Kirk, my precious, come to Denver, right? And if they truly feel like they're a quarterback away and they can't get their guy at 9, probably out of the range of the big 3 quarterbacks, maybe they get Trey Lance, probably not. Make a move, man. Right. So obviously you feel like Stafford could have put you over the top and made you a Super Bowl contending team. So come get a guy who's even better. Kirk Cousins. That's right. Next up, trade destination number 3 for Kirk Cousins, the Carolina Panthers. Oh, Kirk stole Teddy's job twice now. But the number 8 overall pick, they do have $7.13 million in cap space, so they would have to make some moves. Panthers reportedly offered the number 8 overall pick and a late round selection for Stafford. So hey, Teddy, your time Panthers probably done. Now, they would have to eat some significant dead cap from his 3-year deal that he signed last offseason free agency, or trade him. And like we said at the beginning, no, I'm not interested in players. I'm not interested in Teddy. We had our moment in time. Didn't quite work out. So, no. Give me the picks. Give me the loot. Give me the loot. Panthers are a young, fast, and fun team, and they could become quick contenders with Kirk Cousins under center. Next up, trade destination number 4 for Kirk Cousins, the Indianapolis Colts. That's right. Frank Reich, Chris Ballard. Come on, man. Jim Irsay, let's go. 21 overall pick, $64.89 million in cap space. They have the second most cap space in the NFL behind fellow AFC South team Jacksonville Jaguars. The Colts did have passing interest in Stafford, but they didn't offer number 21. But that would be the start, man. All right, so 21 and a 2, 21 and a 3, 21 and a future 2, somewhere in that neighborhood. So no Rivers. You're out of range of the top quarterbacks. Mac Jones probably going to be gone when you're on the clock. What do? Turn to Jameis? Do you try to work out a Carson Wentz trade? Okay, no. Colts won 11 games last year with Rivers, who, I mean, was fine, but he certainly wasn't, prime career Phillip Rivers. So now, if you actually have a quarterback who can go vertically in that offense, imagine what you can do. They're ready to win now. Frank Reich and Kirk Cousins would be sexy time. Lastly, trade destination number 5 for Kirk Cousins, the New England Patriots. Number 15 overall pick, $58.5 million in cap space, 4th most in the league. Now, Belichick getting crapped on as Brady makes a Super Bowl. And also, Stafford wanted no part of the Patriots because of their rigid structure, and also Matt Patricia, former Lions head coach, is back on staff there. I get it. Even though he would never have to interact with Matt Patricia, he'd be working with Belichick and McDaniels, but nah, don't tell him that. But Cousins, frankly, I think he would do well in the structured Patriots, Earnhardt-Perkins offense, whereas a guy like Cam Newton, who, by the way, physically beat up last year, he certainly was not the same Cam. He does better as an improviser and able to make plays off script. Kirk Cousins is a guy who definitely needs that script. Now, also, could you imagine the troll if Bill Belichick wins the Super Bowl with Kirk Cousins? They're like, just hoisting that Jerome Barton trophy. Kirk Cousins. Bah! Amazing. Teams that Kirk Cousins won't go to, well, the Bears. Vikings aren't going to trade him in division, sure. Also, Washington, even though Washington was in on Matthew Stafford, could you imagine the craziness of Kirk Cousins waiving his no-trade clause and then eventually going back to Washington where he didn't want to stay in the first place? That's hilarious, man. I love it. Also, the Jets. So, I mean, the Jets had some, they touched base on Stafford. I don't think they were in. I think they do need to go with a young quarterback either at 2 or roll with Darnold or trade for Deshaun. One of the two. Cousins doesn't really make sense there, even though they did try to sign him in free agency. Remember, that was a different regime. That was Mike McCagnon, not Joe Douglas as GM. So, question would be, what do the Vikings do after Cousins? Well, you do have draft capital. You can go after Deshaun or trade up for your quarterback of the future. It's that simple. And yes, I do think Kirk does give the Vikings the best chance to win 2021 outside of a Deshaun trade. But if a team is desperate enough to overpay in draft capital for Kirk, you do have to listen. Because, like we said, he turns 33 in August. His best football was probably behind him. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? If you have this golden opportunity to move up in the draft and get your guy like a Zach Wilson, like a Justin Fields, like a No Pants or Trey Lance, I think you have to do it. I think at minimum you have to consider it. So there you go. But your thoughts, trade destinations, Kirk Cousins, let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support that work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.